Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Learning with Jelly. So, today is the first lesson of Module 2, and this module is going to be all about Python variables and Python fundamentals that you're going to need to analyze data sets in the future. So, knowing the variable types of certain columns in a data set, such as blood pressure versus gender, or BMI versus height, or whether or not somebody is in the South region or longitude and latitude. All of those variables have specific types that we need to know in order to best explore our data and best visualize our data. So today is going to be all about integers. And when we're talking about integers, we're talking about those negative numbers, those positive numbers, as well as zero. So the agenda for today is that we're going to list out all of those Python data types. We're going to explain the importance of integers as it relates to a data professional role, and then we're going to assign integers to variables. So what are those Python data types? So outside of integers, we also have floats, which is decimals, and that could be something like BMI, that also can be something like weight, things of that. Anything that has a decimal in it, we consider floats. Strings have single or double quotes. A lot of times people think of strings as text. However, there also can be numeric strings such as zip codes. Normally, strings is something that we're not doing math on. So we wouldn't do math on someone's zip code, like add two to it. So we may store that as a string. But a lot of the character variables that we have in text variables are strings. There's booleans, which is true and false. There are sets, there are sequences, and there are mapping data types. And we're going to talk about a good portion of these data types throughout our modules. So, what are some examples of data stored as integers? So, if you're trying to do some exploration for real estate data, maybe the number of bedrooms. If you're trying to explore retail data and customer behavior, the number of shopping trips. If you're trying to learn more about telecommunications and why your customers are dropping certain lines, why they are switching service providers. You may think of the number of calls to a call center. Or if you're looking at things like Uber or Lyft data, the number of drives driven for a ride share. So all of these are examples of data stored as integers. So we're going to practice assigning our first variable, aka an object, to an integer using the assignment operator, which is a single equal sign. Note that a double equal sign is a comparison operator that means equal to another value. So when you just want to assign a value, you're just going to use a single equal sign. And we're going to talk about how variables are objects in a future lesson, but everything in Python is an object. And once you understand that concept, it gets a lot easier. So let's go ahead in this block of code, assign x to the integer 15. Notice I have x equals, and only thing that I need to do is type 15. I can type x on the next line and it will print it out for me. Okay, so we have assigned the variable x to 15. We can also use the print if we wanted to print some value out. So I'm going to assign y to the value of 12. And when I call print y, it prints y right out onto my screen. Alrighty. So let's see what we can do next. We can also assign two values on the same line. So say, for instance, I wanted to assign x as 2, y as 5. I can do that on the same line. That's called a multiple assignment. And I can print out both 2 and 5 straight to my screen. So let's recap what we learned today about integers. So variables in Python are objects, and we can assign variables of value using a single equal sign. Integers are whole numbers. They're positive or negative and include 0. And we can use that single equal to assign an integer to any variable we want, such as the number of bedrooms, the number of calls, the number of pairs of shoes that we own. So that was our quick introduction to integers in Python. Please like, comment, and subscribe to Learning with Jelly, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye bye.